È con grande piacere che oggi presento una persona per noi speciale, tanto speciale al punto che la città di Lugano, insieme al comitato di Endorfine, oggi ha il piacere di attribuirgli un premio, per noi molto importante e molto caro. Il premio Marco Boradori in tutto ciò che genera bellezza. Inutile dire, questo premio è dedicato al nostro scomparso sindaco. È la terza edizione che premia una persona speciale e lo fa quest'oggi premiando Mohamedou Ould Slahi, e con questa motivazione, che sono le parole che il comitato di selezione ha scelto. Mohamedou non ha mai perso l'umanità nell'inferno di Guantanamo, piantando un seme nella terra brutale della tortura, dalla quale è germogliato un bellissimo fiore di pace, amicizia e libertà. Come ha scritto Dante nel canto degli Ulisse, fatti non foste a viver come bruti, ma per seguir virtute e conoscenza. Questo è un accorato appello, sempre attuale, contro l'imbrutimento dell'essere umano. E adesso è con grande piacere che vi presento Mohamedou Ould Slahi. Grazie. A premiare Mohamedou questo pomeriggio ci sono Carlotta Boradori, che prego di raggiungermi qui sul palco, il sindaco Michele Folezzi e il vice sindaco Roberto Badaracco. Grazie. Lascio per primo la parola al sindaco.
Ma niente, una piccola riflessione. Se potessimo tutti noi avere la forza che ha dimostrato lui nella resilienza e nella resistenza, penso che saremmo tutti una società molto, ma veramente molto migliore. E quindi i miei più grossi complimenti e soprattutto la mia gratitudine per aver dimostrato questa capacità. E ultima cosa, grazie agli organizzatori di Endorfine, perché sapete che in questa società ci si dimentica sempre molto velocemente delle persone e delle cose. E voi con questo premio non vi dimenticate di Marco, di tutto quello che ha fatto, e quindi credo che sia doveroso ringraziarvi. E finisco qui.
Grazie. So che Mohamedou voleva dire qualche parola. You can sit down. Yeah, wherever you want.
I want to start.
Okay, please.
Carlotta. La monotonia della vita in prigione mi ha spinto a cercare conforto nella creazione di un mondo interiore. Nel tempo i miei ricordi del mondo esterno sono gradualmente svaniti, distillati in un'unica immagine, il volto di mia madre che si allontanava nello specchietto retrovisore mentre mi portavano via la sua perline di preghiera congelata nelle mani mentre pronunziava le preghiere di protezione e a sua insaputa le preghiere dell'ultimo addio. Ma mentre il mio corpo fisico rimaneva confinato, il mio spirito ha mantenuto la sua libertà di vagare liberamente come voleva. Questa liberazione interiore mi è servita da salda ancora durante quegli anni difficili. Il momento più caro ogni giorno arrivava quando mi sdraiavo sul letto di metallo nella cella. Paradossalmente è stato dell'interno di questa piccola cella che ho scoperto la mia vera libertà. Chiudendo semplicemente gli occhi potevo immaginare un regno dove nessuna presenza militare oppressiva poteva raggiungermi. La mia mente è diventata una fortezza inespugnabile della quale solo io avevo la chiave e dovevo far entrare solo chi volevo. Una storia ricorrente che mi immaginavo era quella di costruire un mantello dell'invisibilità fatto coi rifiuti della prigione. Avvolto in questo fantasmagorico indumento avrei atteso il momento perfetto per sgalatolare oltre le guardie vigili. I loro orari mi erano rimasti impressi nella memoria dopo aver sopportato innumerevoli anni quella prigione. Immaginavo di nascondermi all'interno del camion del viveri che seguiva una rigida routine. Le guardie e i catering operavano con precisione meccanica, lasciandomi l'opportunità di fuggire inosservato se avessi giocato bene. Nascosto nel retro del camion del cibo, avrei lasciato i terreni della prigione, la mia prossima destinazione, il traghetto che trasportava personale e visitori all'altra parte dell'isola. Con la massima cautela mi sarei mimetizzato tra la folla, controllando anche il mio respiro per non essere scoperto. Una volta raggiunto l'albergo, qualsiasi hotel, avrei aspettato pazientemente il minibus navetta per l'aeroporto che trasportava gli ospiti ai loro voli. Il mio obiettivo è passare la sicurezza e salire discretamente su un aereo dove avrei trovato rifugio in bagno. Una volta negli Stati Uniti, il mio viaggio sarebbe continuare alla ricerca di un volo di collegamento per Ginevra. La stanchezza, verità, tutti verità, avrebbe sicuramente preso il sopravvento, ma la pura determinazione mi avrebbe tenuto sveglio. Una volta a Ginevra avrei intrappreso un viaggio a piedi per raggiungere il cuore della città, dove avrei fatto affidamento sulla gentilezza degli sconosciuti. Sconosciuti. Grazie. Degli sconosciuti per il cibo e un riparo. Questa ricerca sarebbe continuata fino a quando non avresti incontrato un individuo compassionevole disposto a condurmi alla Croce Rossa. Oggi questo sogno si è materializzato. Alhamdulillah. Eccomi a Svizzera. Io ho incontrato non solo un'anima gentile, mi trovo di fronte a una stanza piena di anime gentili. In tutte le infinite ore che ho trascorso a sognare questo, non avrei mai potuto immaginare che mi sarei trovato qui di fronte a voi. Vincere il premio Marco Borradori, incredibilmente significativo ed emozionante, non ci sono parole per ringraziarvi abbastanza. Per me è un onore e grazia per aver condiviso con me la vostra città bella.
Grazie Mohamedou per le tue parole, io ti invito ad accomodarti. Ringrazio Carlotta Moradori, il sindaco Michele Foletti, il vice sindaco Marco Badaracco, sempre presenti per noi, grazie. Come ho già detto, Lugano è la nostra città e la nostra casa.
I understand.
Okay, so
I try to understand.
if you need it, you just... Eccoci, partiamo. In questa immagine che ci ha dato Mohamedou giust'ora, ha ricordato la sua mamma. Mohamedou, tu hai ricordato quell'immagine molto forte di tua mamma che vedi dallo specchietto dell'auto con in mano il rosario delle preghiere. E tu non pensavi che non l'avresti mai più rivista, la tua mamma. Quella è stata l'ultima volta. Oggi, pensare a quel momento, come ti senti? Ripensare a quel momento lì.
First, I'm very sorry that I don't speak your beautiful language. And so this is my first time in the Italian speaking part. And I was happy at first because I said, okay, they speak Italian, they're like Italian people, so very relaxed. I was wrong. I said, those people are German people speaking Italian. Because everything like in minutes, because I visited Italian at the university, and everything is very relaxed. I can come 30 minutes, 40 minutes later. And so I'm sorry that I don't speak your language, so I will answer in English. You know, to be honest, I don't have an answer. Because we cannot express emotion, all of them. that's why we cry. You know, when you see something that is so bad, you cry. Because you can't say anything to express it. And when you love someone, you cannot express it, you sing. And then in our culture, we have, you know, the Sufi. They dance because they cannot express. So I never forget this day because I came back from work. It was about 4 p.m. About 3 weeks, or no, several weeks after the horrific events of 9/11, where people were slaughtered mercilessly. And I was very tired. It was Ramadan. Ramadan is a month where we are not supposed to eat or drink during the day, so that we remember people who don't have as much as we do. And I was really tired. And then those two agents, Mukhabarat, secret police, came to us and they asked me to come with them. I know, you cannot imagine this in your country, that police come to you and said, you come with us without reason. You know, unfortunately, these secret police are still operating in many parts of the world. And my mama looked at me and she told me, I know why they came. I said, why? She said, because you watch TV. I told you not to watch TV. I told you not to listen to politics. You know, and this is so deep philosophically, because informed population is very dangerous. You know, I heard something very original idea. I was at an event to support someone who is in prison, Julian Assange, and this young Frenchman said something very original. He said, there are no secret. There are no secret. There are no classified information. There are only information that you cannot know, but important people can know. So you are not important to know those information, but important people can know those information. They can share them. They can give them to other countries to share them. But you are the only person who is not allowed to know them. And I remember when the police car pulled away, I could see my mom like shaking with the prayer bead, tasbih. Are there Catholic people who grew up Catholic here? Yeah, so the preghiera, same thing. And she was like shaking, and she disappeared. I could see slowly, then forever. And this is what I remember all the time.
Hai parlato di informazioni che ci sono, ma non sono accessibili a tutti. Non era la prima volta che tu venivi prelevato quel giorno, è stata l'ultima volta che sei stato prelevato nel tuo paese. Ci racconti perché la polizia ti stava controllando ormai da parecchio tempo? Cos'era successo prima?
So, very easy. So, I studied in Germany, and I was working, and I received a phone call from my cousin. And the reason why I received the phone call, because his father was sick and he was in the hospital. And he asked me to help him transfer money to his father. This is like very normal in my culture. So I helped his father, but there was a problem, because he was calling me from the phone of Osama bin Laden. He was his friend. And Of course, I didn't know because I don't know in Switzerland, but when someone call you, Assalamu alaikum, hi, you don't ask him, what phone? Are you calling from Osama bin Laden's telephone? No, you don't ask. You just say, okay, and then. So I didn't know, but after this phone call, in 99, my life went completely downward, completely kaput, because the Germans started a very thorough investigation. And I didn't know, but they didn't find anything. So they must have told the Americans, we cannot arrest him. But they took back every small mistake I do, they make it very big, and then they took back my residency permit. And I was so scared. I moved to Canada, and I thought I was going to be safe, but I was really dumb because Canada is much worse than Europe. And as soon as I arrived, a guy tried to cross to the US to do harm. And it was like everywhere I am, there is a problem. And they said, okay, this guy is responsible. Except I don't know the guy, I never met him, I don't know where he is from. And those are facts. So now we know them to be facts. So Canada said they cannot arrest me because there is no reason. So then the US, Canada, and Mauritania agreed to lure me outside the law to Africa and then kidnap me. And that's what happened. They went to my mother, they asked her, they said, your son is in a lot of problem, so if you could call him, tell him that you are sick, so we could save him from the trouble. And she called me. And I came home. I never left home. I was kidnapped after that, taken to Jordan, then to Afghanistan, and then to Guantanamo Bay, where I spent 15 years and 5 years after that. And before that, I couldn't leave my home. 20 years of my life.
20 anni della tua vita, ma una delle cose che mi ha colpito della tua storia è il fatto che nessuno mai ti ha incriminato, come ci spiegavi, ma hai subito tantissimi interrogatori nei quali ti si chiedeva conto del perché tu eri stato in Afghanistan prima di ricevere quella telefonata. Vuoi spiegarcelo qui a noi, ora?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. That didn't help much. When I was very young, like in Germany, it was like Afghanistan was very big. And every day on TV, programs, and the Mujahideen, the so-called Mujahideen, they have an embassy in Bonn. And, I was very young, and I wanted really to see how it was. And then I purchased a ticket, and I went to Afghanistan. And then 2 times, about in a realm of 3 months. But I saw the violence and the war, and the picture that I had from TV and from the lectures, and in the cultural centers and the mosque was not correct, because they were fighting for power. They were not fighting for human rights. They were not fighting for justice. And then I left Afghanistan. I never came back.
Tu questo l'hai detto subito, ma nessuno ti ha creduto. Perché?
I have to listen. There is in psychology, there is something they call confirmation bias. Confirmation bias means that we, as a human being, that is you, me, we always try to find proofs for what we believe. We don't try to say, maybe I'm wrong. No, we say, everything that is in line with what I believe, I accept. Everything else, I reject. And in airplane crashes, 80% human errors, not computer, human errors, 80%. And a lot of those because of confirmation bias, because we think always what we believe we want through. And the US and the intelligence, they saw me, look at me, like North African, Middle Eastern look. All the wanted people look like me. And then I speak with heavy accent, really bad. Even like every time I came to the beautiful country of UK, they always pull me aside. And I feel attractive actually, because I'm the only one they take. I said, wow, because it's like I know him. I know what you're gonna do. You're going to ask me a question. And then I ask them, why do you choose me? I mean, I feel really honored, everything, but why you choose me every time, every single time? They say, there is something in the computer. I say, how can I remove it? They said, that we cannot. You have to go to the ministry. So that's why it's very important not to trust the government. I know the mayor is here, everything, but it's very important. Why? And I'm saying this because, I come from North Africa, a majority Muslim countries. And a lot of people think if we have a very good Muslim on the top, we are going to be better. And this is wrong. Because maybe you are good today, but tomorrow you are not good. And what is my guarantee? The only guarantee I have is the rule of law, that the executive power is separated from the judiciary and is separated from the legislative. So that's my only guarantee. And I tell you something, I was the first death penalty case. Not number 2, not number 3, I was the first death penalty case. And I remember First Sergeant Charlie, he said, table maybe this big, 70 centimeters away from me. And he was explaining to me my death case. And how are they going to kill me? And how can I avoid? What can I do to avoid? And I had no feeling. I was completely numb. And I know I'm going to die, you're going to die, everybody's going to die. But that someone sit in front of you and explain to you in detail, and kill you for something you didn't do. I mean, I can lie to you, you can lie to me, but I cannot lie to myself. I know I didn't do any of this. And those people want to kill me for something I didn't do. And that's why it's very important to respect the rule of law. That's why I want the people in this beautiful country always to promote peace in my part of the world and to promote democracy and the rule of law instead of selling weapons and encouraging colonial agenda. Colonialism is not good. It's not good for me. It's not good for you. It's not good for anyone. We need peace. We need the rule of law. I'm in a region, Sahel. Sahel is now a chessboard for Russia and America and the West. And we are the pawn. They play with us. We are the one who die.
Sono poteri forti. Abbiamo parlato questa mattina di Russia e E adesso stiamo parlando di Stati Uniti. Stati Uniti che si definiscono democratici, liberali, e che però ti hanno tenuto a Guantanamo. Guantanamo è qualcosa che è fuori dalla legge che tu ci stai raccontando. Guantanamo è qualcosa che non dovrebbe neppure esistere, eppure è lì, c'è ancora. Ci vuoi raccontare Guantanamo nel dettaglio? Che posto è, soprattutto cosa succede? Cosa succede lì dentro? No, bene, lo sappiamo.
Comprendo.
Yes, what's going on there?
Comprendi. Look, this is not new, actually. I will tell you something that happened in 1790 something, you know. That was the independence of the United States of America. One of the reasons that they wrote, we want independence because the crown, that is the British crown, takes people from the colonies, that is the US, to the UK to put them on trial so that they don't have any fair trial. So if I go to the US on trial, I have no chance. You know, one time this interrogator told me, you look like a dog, you bark like a dog, you must be a dog. He said, look at you, look at how you talk, and no jury would ever acquit me. And he's right, because I'm not a US citizen, I don't have neighbors, I don't have a family name, and I have no face to them. So Guantanamo Bay is the typical colonial, fascistic way to deal with people who are not you. Because the US said there are people who deserve human rights, and there are people who don't deserve human rights. Young people from Africa and from the Middle East don't deserve human rights. And that's why Guantanamo Bay is created. And you can ask me how I think about it. I'm not going to tell you my opinion because I tend to be biased. If you take me and torture me and let my mother die in pain and my brother die in pain, I'm not going to be with you. But I'm telling you one thing. People die under torture. You know, Gul Rahman, an Afghani farmer, died in the cold room. And I describe the cold room in my book. Dali War died, was beaten to death in Bagram, the same prison I was taken to. Those are people we know with name. After more than 20 years, the horrific events of 9/11, 3,000 people die in cold blood. We don't have anyone who was brought to court and who was punished for those crimes. We don't have. You know, I have friends of mine who are victims of 9/11. There is no court for them. There is, you know, and that's what justice looks like. You know, after 20 years, no one is held accountable, and the people who tortured are not held accountable. And you know what? This is not only America. My country helped America. Your country helped America. You know, I read the book of Edward Snowden. One of his stations, CIA station, was here in your country. You know, and that's very shameful that democracies are helping, you know, the US, you know, to do this horrific human rights violation. That's not a good friend. If you are my good friend, you tell me, Mohamedou, that's bad. You shouldn't do it. But if you say, go, do it, and I help you, that's not good.
Tu hai parlato di tortura, tu hai subito delle torture orribili. Come si fa a passare attraverso un inferno. Io voglio raccontarvi quello che lui ha passato. È scritto nel suo libro, ci sono più film che raccontano la sua storia. Uno, tra l'altro, è passato proprio in televisione la sera scorsa, per chi volesse andarselo a rivedere. Lui è stato tenuto sveglio, non gli è stato permesso di dormire, è stato tenuto al freddo, nudo, è stato abusato, anche sessualmente abusato, per giorni, giorni e mesi. E io, leggendo le sue parole, non sono riuscita a trattenere le lacrime e mi sono chiesta come si fa a superare, a uscire da quella tortura ed essere una persona così aperta, solare, come lo sei tu oggi. Come si può riuscire a fare questo?
My assumption is that this is a rhetorical question, because you don't expect me to answer this question, because to be honest, I don't know the answer. But I will tell you something. We always talk to people who survive. You know, I work with refugees in the Netherlands, like from Syria, from Ukraine, and from Africa, also from my neighboring countries. I help them tell their stories, write, and do theatrical performances. And they're all very strong because they survived. The people who didn't survive, you don't talk to the people who didn't survive because they died. And also you don't talk to Gul Rahman because he died. Dali War, you don't talk to him. But I do think that the way my grandma raised me was very important. Like, she always told me, Mohamedou, if you help poor people, Allah will help you. If you give a poor person one thing, Allah will give you 10 things. And I remember I go outside, she gave me change, and I give it to people, you know, beggars. And I come back and I find 10 things. And I think she conspired. But that's a very good investment. We are in Switzerland. You know, 10 times is always good investment. I don't care how much you know about finances, but this is good investment. And and that's what gave me the power of forgiveness, because I felt free. You know, always like, and you can ask the guards, because I always like happy and laughing, even though I was in this pain, because I know in my heart I'm not hating anyone. I don't hate anyone. I forgive all of them. And, you know, and I met some of them. I invited them at home. You know, my nephew asked Steve. Steve is a guard who visited me. He told me, why is he here? I said, he's a friend. He said, but he put you in prison. I said, yes. I said, but he is a guard. And then he asked him, he was like 7 years old. He asked, do you have the key? Steve said, yes. Could you open the door? He said, yes. And he said, but you didn't. He said, no. And then he left. He didn't want to talk to him.
Ma parliamo proprio di Steve. Tu con lui hai costruito un rapporto di amicizia, oggi tu lo chiami fratello. Come si costruisce in un frangente come quello che hai descritto? Lui aveva la chiave, lui era il tuo carceriere, quindi aveva potere su di te. Come si costruisce un'amicizia quando c'è potere da una parte e dall'altra parte invece non c'è, hai in mano la tua vita? Come si fa?
So you're right, it's a very weird relationship. You know, it's a very weird relationship. You know, it's, I remember the first day, you know, I was very reclusive and I was very scared, because after so many months in isolation, I was very scared of people. And I have a life I created in my head. And I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to see anyone. And he came to me, he was like, hey, what's up? I was like, well, what's up? He said, do you like coffee? And I don't drink coffee a lot. I'm a tea guy. But I said yes, because whenever someone kidnap you and they ask you if you want coffee, just tell them yes, you want coffee. It's my advice, you know. And he told me, get up. Then I stood up, and then he let me sit beside him. He made me coffee. I tasted it, tastes like shit. It's not good. No bene coffee. But I don't, because I want to fit in. And then he asked me whether I know how to play cards. You know, I told him cards is different every country, but if you teach me, I know. And he taught me Rami. And then we start to play. And then I know we are friends when we start gossiping about other people. Because I don't know about Switzerland, but in my country, gossip is the best thing we do. So me and my cousin speak about my brother when he's not here. Me and my brother speak about my cousin when he is not here. And I can say very safely that they speak about me when I'm not there. And we start talking about the interrogator behind their backs, talking about the guards, and we became friends. But we were in the closet because it was forbidden friendship. And then I always tell him, when people say us outside, I was a free man, they think that we are two gay guys who came out of the closet, you know. I'm like the cheap guy you get from Africa for free, you know. And and we became. So he's the godfather of my son, and I'm the godfather of his daughter. And we want to work for peace, and we want like to teach people. And he came to me, he did Ramadan with me, you know, in Mauritania. And we just want very little change. We want to make very little change. Because the narrative is that I am your enemy. And that's what the fascists want us to answer. The fascists in my country want to tell me you are my enemy. And the fascists in this part of the world, they want to tell you I'm your enemy. But I think they're wrong, because I don't want to fight anyone. If you want to fight, I don't want to fight with you, you know. And we just need to talk to each other, you know. What Steve's family wants is what my family wants. We want peace, we want more affordable health care, affordable food. That's what we want. And we want to be free, you know, to worship God the way we want, or if you don't want to worship God, that's also okay. And we want just freedom and affordable, you know, living.
Anche qui di questa tua amicizia c'è un bellissimo e corto documentario del Guardian che ha ripreso l'arrivo di Steve in Mauritania la prima volta che è venuto a trovarti. E c'era una grande emozione da parte di tutti e due nel rivedervi a casa tua. E tu che gli prepari un letto perché dici c'è bisogno di farlo per bene, come una prigione, sì. E poi passate dei giorni insieme in cui gli fai vedere anche come la preghiera fa parte della tua vita e della tua cultura. Ecco, raccontaci come la fede fa parte di te e che ruolo ha avuto anche nel tuo stare a Guantanamo, quanto ti ha aiutato a avere fede nella tua prigionia.
To be honest, I think it was therapeutical for both of us, because what a lot of people don't know is that if you cause someone to suffer, you are going to suffer too. And I dare say that you will suffer more than the person, you know? Because, okay, if you torture me, okay, I'm not going to I have the pain of the torture you visit on me, but I will not have the guilt that I caused you anything. But if you torture me, you will always live with the guilt. Unless you are completely a psychopath, then you won't feel anything, you know. And you know, you talk about this relationship balance of power. He could do anything to me. If he kills me, he can write just a report. I was threatened, and no problem. And there are people who were killed in Guantanamo Bay. The guards wrote, whatever they wrote is good. I wasn't there. But now we are on equal footing, you know. And that was very important to me to see that he can't do anything to me. He can't, I can go outside when I want. I can go, and that's very important for the healing, you know, of those painful years.
E la religione ti ha aiutato in questo percorso di guarigione? È qualcosa che mi raccontavi, era già presente fin da piccolo, tua nonna ti passava degli insegnamenti su Allah. Ti ha aiutato questo durante tutti questi anni e come la vivi oggi? Ti chiedevo come la religione, come la figura di Allah, che tua nonna ti ha trasmesso da piccolo, ti ha accompagnato durante gli anni di prigionia e come oggi vivi il tuo essere religioso?
You know, like the tradition I grew up in was what made me the person I am. And you know, this political like debate of like, you know, war or holy war or people, Muslim want to fight the West, that's very novel in my life. What is in my life is that we should wake up every day, we should always clean our teeth, and we should always pray, and we should help the poor people, and we should not talk because the government can be very violent. So aside from the political side of what you hear, so this tradition of forgiveness, and in the Quran we say, when you forgive, you are closer to Allah, meaning you are perfect. And I can see that also in the scripture, because at least to what I understand, what I was taught is that we all like the same tradition. So that's what we understand. I know I cannot say this here, but but that's what we were. So we value and respect the prophets the same way. And I really think that the most powerful thing that helped me, to be short, is the power of forgiveness that I was taught as part of my tradition when I was very little. And compassion, like helping others.
Ma torniamo a un altro punto della tua storia, che è quello dell'incontro con i tuoi avvocati. Tu vieni trattenuto per anni a Guantanamo senza vedere una singola volta un avvocato, senza essere mai accusato di niente, quindi trattenuto anni e anni e anni. A un certo punto succede qualche cosa. Cosa succede?
When I grew up, I used to watch Married with Children. Married with Children. Anyone watch this? It's an American TV show. It's called in German Eine schrecklich nette Familie. And so we are really old. Oh, I'm sorry. I know why you don't want to have seen it, because you don't want to be old. But it's really it's funny. And the other is Law and Order. So everyone watch. It's still running. You are not old, so Law and Order. So, and I have this perception that Americans are funny, very good sense of humor, and they really follow the law. Turns out they're really funny. That's it. That's the end of the story. So, so when I came, I was always waiting on a lawyer. It took me about 4 years to see a lawyer. That's very bad prison. If you go to a prison and you wait 4 years on your lawyer, that's very bad prison. Never go there. Don't go to a prison where there is no lawyer. And so when she came to me, Nancy was Nancy and Sylvia the first time. And Sylvia spoke French, so they need a translator. But I already learned English from the guards, and they were like shocked, that I already spoke English. And I was so happy because I'm ashamed to say this, but I will say it. I thought that I will get like $1 million damage because that's what I saw in the movies. And today, don't believe the movies. It's not true. It's not. And I was really, oh my God, I thought I was going to get money, And turns out I didn't get any money. But I thought, because this is lawyer, this was all a big mistake, they will apologize to me, and I will go to court, and they will But it took like about 5 years. 5 years until I get to court. And then I went to court and I won. But they wouldn't release me. I stayed 6 more years. 6 more years. Yeah. And this is really, really bad. It's bad for America. It's not only bad for. And it's bad for democracy. And you know what dictators and authoritarian regimes say? When they take people, kidnap them, put them in prison, and you say you cannot do it, they say the US do it. Can you say US is not a democracy? And this is a very powerful argument, And the problem is that the West, this is including Switzerland, they did not stand up, to defend this. And I do understand, I'm not a stupid person. I do understand that Switzerland is a very small country compared to the US. I know that. And I know that US is a good friend of, and I want to be a good friend to the US. I want Switzerland, Germany, Mauritania to be good friend to the US. But I want them to tell them when they are wrong, to tell them you are wrong. Because I love you, I'm your friend. There is, after the horrific war in Iraq, the UK made what is called Chilcot report, very known. They found out that the UK went to the war wrongfully. And they said, every time, those are British people making this report in 2000, I think 13 or 14. They said, every time the US asks us to jump, we say, how high? We never told the US, you are wrong. And this is a very bad friend. We should always tell the US when they're wrong, And I loved it because I think this is a very big conspiracy against human rights, against human rights and against democracy. And I'm from a part of the world that we still want the basic rights that you have. And we are so far away from them now after 9/11 and after the war against terrorism.
Quello che dici è molto importante e molto forte, i diritti umani che vengono negati in un paese democratico. Un paese democratico che mette in piedi una prigione come questa, dove la tortura può esistere, cosa aberrante. Un'altra cosa che a me ha colpito molto del tuo libro, dove tu racconti la storia, sono le pagine censurate. Tu scrivi, ma quello che esce e che può passare al pubblico è questo. Questo è agghiacciante, questa è la censura non è l'editore. Questa è la censura del governo. Questa è la censura del governo. Quindi tu sei stato privato anche del diritto di parlare, di raccontare la tua storia. Quindi quanto è importante essere qui oggi per te e poterlo cancellare, questo nero che vedo sul tuo libro.
So, I want to tell you something that is scientific. I want to take my emotion and put them aside for now. In military school in the US, part of the training is propaganda. The truth is not important, but your narrative is important. You should construct a narrative and sell it. And there is a German proverb that says, wenn das Militär sich bewegt, bleibt die Wahrheit auf der Strecke. I translate. Anyone understand German? Yeah. Wenn das Militär sich bewegt, bleibt die Wahrheit auf der Strecke. So, meaning, when the military is on the move, truth cannot keep up. Truth stays behind. So, part of this war, so the government need to tell you that people, young Muslim people, are evil. And you cannot see our faces, we cannot talk to you, and you cannot humanize us. So, the fact that I wrote my testimony, and when they read it, they said, oh, we don't want anyone to know this. That already tells you the whole story, And this book stays 8 years, about 8 years. We couldn't publish it. I wrote very small, and it was smuggled in letters, and the government saw it. They said, you cannot be published. That tells you everything, And I mean, if it's a lie, this is good. You just take it to the court and say, look, we know he's lied here, he lied here, he lied here. But they know it's not a lie, And that's a very big problem. Whenever the government doesn't want you to know something, you really need to know it,
Io ti faccio un'ultima domanda perché vorrei che il pubblico oggi avesse largo spazio di poter dialogare con te. E l'ultima che ti faccio è tornando all'inizio. Noi abbiamo aperto con la figura di tua mamma che ti vede partire. Tu non avrai più occasione di vederla perché purtroppo muore mentre tu sei detenuto a Guantanamo, come tuo fratello. Oggi che pensiero vuoi dedicare a tua mamma?
I think my mother now, so we believe in an afterlife. I know this is a joke to a lot of people, but still I do believe in an afterlife, And I really think that my mom today would be very proud to see that, a very far away country, a very far away city, Lugano, she wouldn't even be able to pronounce it, that they are honoring me and honoring my mother. So I dedicate this to my mother today. And thank you so much.
E io lascio la parola alla platea, per cui possiamo continuare con le domande del pubblico.
Parlare lentamente.
Rompete gli indugi, ecco qua.
Spazio. Despacito. Despacito.
Hello, hi, my name is Paola. I have 2 questions, please. As Guantanamo Bay camp is still open and there are still many detainees that are detained there, I wanted to ask you if you know, or even when you were there, if there were any human rights organization or did the International Committee of the Red Cross was able to visit you and to improve the conditions that you were going through or not at all? And then the second very short question is, how come that after 4 years you finally received the visit of these lawyers? They were appointed by the state, it was a new policy of the US government, or who hired them for you, if I may ask? Thank you so much.
Very good question, indeed. So I think as a country, you should be very proud of the international community of the Red Cross, ICRC, you know, because they were the only people who were allowed to see us. But the government, you know, hid some detainees from them. And I was one of the detainees who was hid. And I remember when they came to me, the agent was very angry. He said, "Where were you?" And I said, "I cannot say." "Did they do anything to you?" I said, "I cannot say." And then it was a big frustration because I was scared. You know, I was scared. I cannot say. And the Red Cross can only confront the government if I tell them. So, and I was so scared I tell them anything. So they brought us, you know, hope. They took the letters. Of course, they have to give all the letters to the government. You know, but that they came to us, it was really a very big thing. Every month or every 2 months or every 3 months. It depends when the government allows them. And recently, a good friend of mine from Ireland, Fenula from Human Rights Commission, she also visited and she issued a very damning report about the place. Still open, you know, to this day. You know, you ask about lawyers, the US government can do whatever they want. They can put you in prison without giving you any lawyer. And this is ingrained in the law. A lot of American people don't know this, but they can put you in prison and they don't need, if they say you are a threat to the security of the state. You know? It's horrible, it's horrible law. And I don't know how you can accept this, but you know, people accept this because they know this is only for Muslim. But you know, it will come one day where they will get you too, you know. Because in the 40s, in the 30s was Jewish people. They can take them, you know. But they came with other people, you know. And, you know, like it doesn't matter what minorities and what people they come for. We should always reject that the government has the power to put you in prison without, you know. And the technical thing that the lawyer were fighting in the US, and they won that they can see me, you know. And this is a very good thing in the US, that the court are really very powerful, very conservative, don't get me wrong, you know. You cannot mess with Jesus Christ, or you cannot say that Jesus Christ wasn't born in Alabama. But aside from that, they are very independent. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I just wanted to ask you, you said that your uncle had the telephone of Osama bin Laden. So is that true, and how did they know that? And the second question is, I think there are still some 30 detainees in Guantanamo, something like that. Do you know why they're still held there? And do you know the reason for that?
Grazie mille. Yes, my cousin, my far cousin, was a friend of Osama bin Laden. But turns out he was not involved in 9/11. He was just his friend, you know, business relationship and so. And yes, he called me with the phone that belonged to Osama bin Laden. It was listened to by CIA. So the other question is, so there are two kinds of detainees in Guantanamo Bay. There are about 14 detainees who are being court-martialed, meaning they were in a military court because of 9/11. And they were detainees who were, they call them unreleasable. They call them forever detainee. So you are not charged with the crime, but you are not going home. You know, I was unreleasable for 15 years. You don't go to court, but you are not going home. And that should not exist in a good country like the US. I think US people are good people, and they deserve better.
Hi, I wanted to thank you because you're a really inspiring person, I think. And I wanted to ask you, how did you, during your period in Guantanamo, how did you manage to keep a positive attitude towards yourself? And how did you manage to take care of your spirituality or your inner self? Thank you.
Thank you so much for this question. You know, the premise is that I always keep my positivity, but that was not true always. You know, sometime, and even last night in the hotel, I had a horrific nightmare. And I woke up 3 times, and I was like shouting. And I was so scared to wake up my neighbors. And but what are my options? Do you want me like to say, cry? Because no one is going to come to me. One time, you know, like this guard one time gave me the best lesson ever. I had so much pain in head. And I tell him, please, I need pain medication. I wasn't myself. You know what he told me? Fuck you. And then, I'm sorry for my language, but this was like the biggest wisdom I ever heard. Because he was telling me, this is not the house of your mother. This is prison, Guantanamo Bay. So you need to understand that. And I understood it. So I said, so I need to deal with my pain with myself, you know, and always to be grateful for everything. And I will give you guys one thing. If you do it today, it will change your life. Today, it will change your life. I send myself every single day, most of the day. When I don't do it, that's very rare. 5 items. Gratitude list. 5 items I'm grateful for. Yeah. Example, today I will write that I'm so grateful that I met you and that I exchanged with you. And then every time I pray for my mother and my father, and I wrote it. I remember them by name. I say the name of them, the name of my brother who passed on, and I recite the names. And then when I go outside and I help someone, I wrote it. When I eat a very good meal, like today, very good. Ravioli, did I read it? And you know, yeah, what's it called? Ravioli. The first time I ate ravioli, I always saw it in frozen food section. And I never ate it. And I'm sorry, but in Europe they call it Italian food. I know, it's your food, but they call it Italian food. So the small things I'm grateful for. That will like always encourage me to do like more good things. And because if you want to bitch about life, there are so many things, you know. But small positive things every day, you know. And I live every day as it is my last day. I always, no regret whatsoever. You know, today, no regret. I'm going from here. I know I did everything I could with you, you know, and no regret whatsoever. Thank you, thank you. I can already see how passionate you are about ravioli.
Hi. I wanted to ask you, what kind of relationship did you have with the other prisoners? Did you had friendship? Did you had enemies? Did you were scared about them?
Thank you so much. I was in isolation. I didn't get to know other detainees. But now I'm free, and I just want, if CIA or others are listening, we are now friends. We talk, and I work with those who want to work about human rights, and and I'm a part of UK Parliament's group with other detainees too. We want to promote human rights, and we want to lobby for the closure of the prison. And a lot of detainees choose not to talk, choose not to contact, because either personal choice or the countries where they are don't allow them to talk. They have a very good word in Dutch language. Dood mond. Dead mouth, meaning you don't have the freedom of speech. Dood mond.
Hello, thank you for your speech, Shukran. I do suppose that the day of your release, it was a lot of mixed feelings. Can you tell us more about this day? Thank you.
Yes. Anyone been to prison? I swear I won't tell anyone. No. So it's really very hard to explain to people what prison is. So prison, I never forget the first day when they slammed the door. Puff, like metal, you know. And I'm claustrophobic. I couldn't breathe. And it was like a container, small container, and there is no window, nothing. No window. No finestra. No finestra. Finestra? Finestra, no finestra. And I was, and then I have to convince myself, okay, you know, meditate, breathe, you know. Camera 24/7. When you undress, they see you. When you put on your clothes, they see you. They decide when to eat. They decide when they take you out. In the beginning, I don't know nights from day. Months on ends, I don't know nights from day. I remember the day after 15 years, this officer, Air Force officer, she looked into the bean hole, the very small windows where they give us food. She told me, "You know that you're going home?" I said, "No, I didn't know." And I know what I had. It was the most beautiful news I ever received. And I know what I had in myself. I had the photos my family sent me because I want to remember the faces. Because I forgot. 15 years, if you are 3 years, you are 18. If you are 15, you are 33 years old. Everybody changes. And I had a couple of CDs of 2.5 Men. Anyone watch it? 2.5 Men? Charlie Sheen. Should be ashamed of yourself, by the way. So, and then I have Shakespeare, a book of Shakespeare play. I asked them, I read it, I didn't understand anything. But it's good because if someone see, oh, detainee with Shakespeare, he's very smart. Yes, he's very smart. So, but I didn't know what outside meant. I have no clue. And then when I came, I didn't want to sleep. And I was awake all the time. And then using my phone, they gave me a smartphone. Use it, watch like useless videos. And I laugh at videos that are not funny because I don't know anything else. And then I start to wake up after several weeks. I saw that everybody is with the phone and no one is talking to anyone. I said, this is the perfect world because I don't want to talk to anyone either. Because in the family, we like to tell jokes, but sometimes the jokes are not really funny. So then you have to laugh. But now we don't have to laugh. I just write LOL. And they think this is funny, but it's not funny. And they're so happy, oh, Mohamedou love my joke. And then they keep sending me. And people don't talk anymore. And all relationships are through the phone. And now I'm afraid of calling people. I don't like to call people. And I don't like when someone calls me, my heart, I don't want anyone to call me.
What phone they have?
Yeah, I know. It's really scary, you know, because I don't want to talk to anyone. Just text me, and I decide when to talk to you, you know.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for your testimony, and I want to ask you, you mentioned that you are in a lobby for the closure of Guantanamo, and I want to ask you, what do you think about the closure? Is something that can happen, it's real, or it's far, far in the time it will happen?
Yeah, I think we should all be concerned about Guantanamo Bay. Because it's not only Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay is in Africa, it's in the Middle East, everywhere. And the best place to start is with the US, because US is a country ruled by law, you know. And if you don't think you are concerned, you know. I think we should write to our representative and tell them to mention Guantanamo Bay when they talk to their American counterparts, and we should help Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, you know, and the Red Cross, you know, and yes, anything you do is good. Even if you write a letter to the detainee, you can write a letter to the detainee and give it to the Amnesty. They will not get it, but still, you know, because a lot of people wrote me, but I never get one letter, never. And I was always ashamed when I meet people in other countries, said, I wrote you a letter. I said, really? And then I'm ashamed, I don't know what to say, because I feel guilty that I didn't receive anything, you know.
Buonasera. Senta, io le volevo chiedere una cosa, che è questa. Steve, che è suo fratello, lei lo definisce suo fratello, come ha vissuto il fatto che fosse colui che la teneva in prigione? Come ha vissuto psicologicamente il cambiamento e la consapevolezza di quello che ha, del lavoro che stava facendo?
Regarding me or Steve? Okay.
Yes.
You know, there is something they call in English peer pressure. And you know, and there is like mob mentality. So if you are in a group and the group does the same thing, you don't feel anything. You think this is right. And it took him very long time to understand I didn't do anything to him. I wasn't involved in anything. And then he started changing completely, you know, start complete transformation, you know. But this takes time, you know. And like, I grew up in Mauritania, and I thought I came to Europe when I was 17 or 18, and I thought everything in Mauritania was right, and everything people do here is wrong. It took me a long time to understand that we do a lot of wrong things too. And then, you know, it's like we just can't see beyond our space, and we judge everything by comparison.
Nessun altro? Ecco, uno e due.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question regarding your the moment that you were in Guantanamo, how you start your day and how you finish your day, and now how you start your day and how you finish your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There were like times, especially in the beginning, where I did not know the day. So I didn't know day or night. I used to look in the bathroom. And then when I see faint light, and then I think, okay, this is sometime in the day. But it took me a long time to discover the bathroom that I could look. So I don't know the beginning of a day. And so, you know, I try to do my 5 prayers. Prayers is our meditation 5 times. But I didn't know when. And when they discover that I pray, they come and beat me because I was forbidden from any prayers. And then I did in my heart. So, and I did in secret. And and then after that, no more. They allow me to pray after that. And then I just start my day, a very strict routine. I wake up, do my prayer, and then get the breakfast. And then, you know, whenever they allow me to read books, I keep reading, teaching myself. And then I also always sing the Quran, because I have always to sing every day a portion. Like, if I don't, then I forget. And today I'm the master of my schedule, except when I'm here. So I wake up, so I do my prayer, and then I do my walk, you know, because I use the walk also to sing. And I don't like to walk with people because they talk to me. And, you know, like, I'm not like you guys very direct. We are not direct. We do things we don't want to do because we want to please people, you know. And I'm ashamed, but I will say it. I watch a lot of useless YouTube videos. And the problem, I'm not even ashamed about it. You know?
L'ultimissima, molto velocemente, ti chiederò di essere breve nella risposta.
Buonasera. Volevo Lei ha saputo che cosa ha fatto, sì, quale meccanismo è entrato in gioco per farlo passare dallo statuto di prigioniero che non poteva uscire al fatto di poter uscire da Guantanamo?
What happened that makes your status of a very close detainee to freedom to get to the
It was better. And when Obama came, it was also better. But it was, so they stopped the torture. And now I have a lawyer and I felt like more confident, and the process changed very slowly, but it changes very slowly, and I'm here. Without my lawyers, I wouldn't be talking to you. Without people like you guys engage in human rights, engage in challenging government, I wouldn't be here. And I'm very grateful for this.
Io ringrazio Mohamedou Ould Slahi, ringrazio tutti voi, un bel applauso. Grazie mille. Lo salutiamo.